Right, so here's the Year 7 2020 exam on perimeter, area and volume. Just going to go through it now. Number 1. What is the perimeter of a rectangle with a base of 10 and a height of 5? Well, if it's 10 by 5 and 2 lots of that, adds up to 30 centimetres. 2. What is the formula for the area of a circle? Well, the area of a circle is pi r squared. Number 3. What is the area of a square with sides of 5 centimetres? So the area of a square is length squared, or side squared. So that's 5 squared. 5 times 5 is 25 squared centimetres. Don't forget your units. Number 4. Calculate the area of the triangle. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, as it's half a rectangle. Base and height must be at right angles to each other, so that's 8 times 6 divided by 2. You can type that into your calculator, which is 24 squared centimetres. Number 5. What's the area of a rectangle with a base of 4 and a height of 11? Well, the area of a rectangle is base times height, and it tells us our base is 4, our height is 11, and 4 times 11 is 44 squared centimetres. Right, some conversions. Convert the following to the units shown. Well, 45 centimetres would be 450 millimetres. 1.4 kilometres is 1,400 metres. Right, we'll do two conversions here. 1,500 millimetres is 150 centimetres, which makes that 1.5 metres. Next questions. Number 7, calculate the area of the parallelogram. Well, the area of a parallelogram is base times height, as long as they are at right angles to each other. So there we have 5 times 8, which is 40 squared centimetres. Number 8, what's the perimeter of the following shape? Now the easy way to do this one is the distance from there to there is the same as the distance from there to there. So the perimeter will be the same as this whole rectangle. So it's 2 lots of 16 plus 15. You can type that into your calculator. You get 62 centimetres. Just double check that. 10, 20, 31, 62. Number 9. How many square metres in a square kilometre? Well, that would be 1,000 times 1,000. So that would be 1 million square kilometres. 1,000 times 1,000. How many square metres in a hectare? And a hectare is 10,000 square metres. Number 10. A regular hexagon has lengths of 5 centimetres. Calculate the perimeter. Well, regular shape is the number of sides for the perimeter times and the length of the side. Hexagon has 6 sides. They are 5. Therefore, the perimeter must be 30 centimetres. All right. Question 11. What is the circumference of the following circle? The circumference of a circle is pi d, or 2 pi r. So it's pi multiplied by 22, because the radius is 11. Now you need your calculator here. So I'm typing in pi multiplied by 22. Now because it says answer 2 decimal places, that gives us 69.12 centimetres. Only centimetres because it's not an area, it's a length. Question 12. Write the formula needed for the following polygons. Okay, so area of a square is length squared, area of a circle is pi r squared, area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, and the area of a trapezium is the parallel sides multiplied by the height divided by 2. Sometimes it's looked as half a plus bh. Perimeter of a square is 4 times the length. Circumference of a circle is pi d, we just did that one. Triangle doesn't really have a perimeter, but the perimeter of a triangle would be the lengths. So length 1 plus length 2 plus length 3, you just add the 3 sides together. And same as a trapezium, it's got 4 sides, so you just add up the 4 different sides. So a few different ways you could write these. So you add up the 4 sides, add up the 3 sides. 13. What's the volume of a cube with sides of 1.2 centimetres? Well, the volume of a cube is L cubed, so that's 1.2 cubed. So we type that into our calculator, 1.2 to the power of 3, and we get 1.728 cubic centimetres because it's a volume. Question 14. A box of 0 has the following dimensions. Find the surface area of the box. So you could find the area of all 6 sides, all 6 rectangles, and add them up. You could know that the surface area would be twice the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height as well. So there's a few ways of doing this one. I'm going to use the formula just as it's slightly quicker. So my base, so that's 7, 28 and 19. My base is 19 times 7. So that's 19 times 7. And that will give me the area at the bottom and the area at the top. That's why it's 2 that. The perimeter of this is 19 plus 7 is 26. 26 times 2 is 52. And times the height of it, 28. So that will get you the perimeter, the surface area in one go. But as I said, you can work out the area of the 6 rectangles and add them together. Typing that into your calculator, 19 times 7 plus 52 times 28. So I just typed in exactly as it is there. Gives me my surface area is 1,722 squared centimetres because it's an area. 15. Find the area of the following triangle. Well, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, but they must be at right angle to each other. So it's 12 times 5 divided by 2, which is 30 squared centimetres. Question 16. Find the area of the shape below. Well, this is a trapezium because you've got 2 parallel sides. So the area of a trapezium is the parallel sides times the height divided by 2. Parallel sides are 10 and 12. The height, make sure we use the same units, is 6.4 centimetres. We type that into our calculator. So 10 plus 12 is 22, times by the 6.4, divided by 2, gives us an area of 70.4 squared centimetres, because it's an area. Question 17. A cube has a total surface area of 1.5 squared centimetres. What is the volume? Well, the surface area of a cube is 6 lots of the area, which means that 6 lots of the area, which means that 1.5 is 6 times the area. So if you divide that by 5, you've got the area of the square. Sorry, divide that by 6, you've got the area of the square. And because the area is L squared, I'll write that out again. The length must be the square root of 1.5 over 6. So that's the length. So I'm going to type that in now, just sort the focus out. 1.5 divided by 6, and I'm going to square root that answer. So the length of the square is 0.5 centimetres. Now to find the volume of a cube is L cubed, so 0.5 to the power of 3. So the volume is 0.125 cubic centimetres. Alright, question 18. Calculate the total area of the compound shape below. Each individual triangle has a perimeter of 22. Well, first we need to find out what this side is here. So you do take away the 8 centimetres here and you've got 14 left. And as they're both the same, this must be 7 and 7. Now to calculate the total area, the area is triangle 1 plus triangle 2 plus a square. So if I actually wrote that out, it's triangle 1 plus triangle 2 plus the square. So triangle 1 is 7 times 7 divided by 2, and that's the same as triangle 2. And the square is 8 times 8. So triangle plus square. You can type that into your calculator in one go. And you get 113 squared centimetres. So again, just worked out what the missing length was for the 1 mark, and then 1, 2, 3 to find the area. Question 19. A 4 metre long pipe has an inside diameter of 4 centimetres, outside diameter of 5 centimetres. What's the volume? So this is a cylinder with a cylinder removed through the middle. Well, the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared multiplied by the height. So that's the big cylinder on the outside. If you then take away the cylinder on the inside, you'll find the volume of what's left. So all we need to do now is substitute in our values. The radius of the outside would be 2.5 because it's half of that one, and the height is 400 because we're converting it into centimetres. take away pi times the radius of this would be 2, and we're also timesing it by 400. So once again, pi r squared h is the volume of the cylinder, big cylinder, take away inside cylinder. I then put in the measurements, and now I'm going to type that in exactly like it is into my calculator. So there's the big cylinder, and I'm minusing the small cylinder. And I'll put it in brackets to make sure we're taking away all of it. Therefore our volume is 2827.43 cubic centimetres. Alright, last question, number 20. Dave is making brims for his baseball cap, C being the centre of the circle, so that's a semicircle there, and that would be a semicircle there. He has 5 square metres of material. How many brims could he make? There's 2 ways of doing this. First way is you could do the area of this semicircle plus the area of this rectangle, and then take away the area of the semicircle. Now if I actually wrote that out, a semicircle, well, pi r squared is the area of a circle, divided by 2 for the semicircle, plus the rectangle here, and then minus the semicircle here. What you'll notice is that if you're adding half a circle and then taking away the same half of a circle, all that's left is base times height. Another way of showing you that is if you cut out this shape here, the top, and moved it to the bottom, it exactly makes one rectangle. Now the base of our rectangle is 14 centimetres, and the height is also the radius, so that would be 7. So 14 times 7, and we get the area of the baseball cap brim is 98. So now to find how many he could make, we've got to do our 5 square metres divided by our 98. Now 5 square metres, because it's an area, you've got to times it by 100 in one direction and times it by 100 in the other direction. So because you were converting square metres into square centimetres, we end up timesing it by 10,000. So 5 times 100 times 100 gives us our 50,000. We divide it by 98 to see how many he could make, and you actually get 510.20. So he can make 510 whole brims. So 510 baseball cap brims is how many he can make with the material provided. So that's how you get 100% on the 2020 Shape Year 7 exam.